Learner's Algebra, Mr. Lawrence here, and I put together a little quest review video for you. Hopefully you have time to review this before the quest. We're just going to do 3 quick problems, and actually I'm only going to do 2, but I'm going to talk about 3. First of all, we have to do operations like subtracting. And remember, I need an LCD. I might look to factor my denominator. In this case, there's nothing to factor. But I'm going to look for my LCD. Oop, I got the fat pen on. Hold on, let me get the skinny one on. And I'm going to think what numbers need to be in my least common denominator. Well, I know I'm going to need an x, and that's going to take care of this guy. It's not going to take care of him because that's not an x. That's 4 more than x, as Daniel likes to say, or an x plus 4, as a lot of you like to say. So I'm going to need an x plus 4 in my LCD. And now I'm going to ask myself, how do I get the 2 fractions to have the same denominator? Well, this first fraction has the x plus 4 part of the denominator, but it's missing the x part. So I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator by x. That'll get me 10x over the LCD, which is x times the quantity of x plus 4. Now, one more thing before I go to the next step. This negative here, you know how you have this problem 5 minus 3. Isn't that the same as 5 plus negative 3? Well, or 10 minus 12 is the same as 10 plus negative 12. Well, what I'm going to do on this problem is, you see how there's a negative here? I'm going to change it to a positive and change the numerator to negative. Now, if that numerator has more than one term, I'll have to change all the signs. I'm distributing the negative. But in this case, it's just a 3, so it becomes a negative 3. So I'm going to have a negative 3. Oops, wait a second, I'm not ready to do that. I didn't finish getting my LCD yet. I need to multiply by the quantity x plus 1 in both the numerator and the denominator. And now I need to distribute the negative 3. So it's going to be a negative 3x minus 3. And that'll be over the LCD of x times quantity of x plus 4. All right, my numerator will become 7x minus 3 over x times quantity of x plus 4. And then I don't want to get my restrictions. This is only true when x does not, oops, that's not an x, when x does not equal 0 or negative 4. And there you go. If I had had a more complex problem, say like 5 over x squared minus 16 minus 1 over x plus 4, on a situation like that, I would have factored first. Got x plus 4, x minus 4, then go find my LCD, which would mean I need an x plus 4. That doesn't look like a 4, does it? And that would cover this guy. And that guy, then I would also need an x minus 4, right? And so to get my LCD, I would only multiply this guy by an x minus 4. But before I actually did my multiplication, because it's subtraction, I would change like that and then distribute a negative 1. You can finish that problem on your own. Oops, don't want that open. Sorry about that. All right, so now I'm going to do a division problem. Well, first thing I'm going to do is multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction of what I divided by. And now I'm going to look to factor. And I know that the x squared minus 25 is the difference of perfect squares. It's going to factor like this. The denominator is a trinomial, and it's going to be x plus 5 times quantity of x plus 5. That will be multiplied by the numerator is a trinomial. Looks like it's going to be an x plus 5 and an x plus 3. And then I'm just going to GCF the second denominator. Now I can look to cancel out. And it looks like this x plus 5 and that x plus 5 could cancel. So can these. This x minus 5 and that x minus 5 can cancel. And so I'm left with 1 times x plus 3 over x, which is just simply x plus 3 over x. And that is only true when x does not equal. Now I got to be careful here. I know I've got the negative 5 from this denominator, and I know I have 0 from this denominator. I also have a positive 5 from this denominator, but because it was division, I have to check this numerator as well, because the original problem was written as a division problem, which means that these numbers were originally in the denominator. Now this will give me a negative 5, which I already have, but then this will get me a negative 3. So there's actually 4 restrictions on this problem. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that x squared minus 25 over x squared plus 10x plus 25 divided by x squared minus 5x over x squared plus 8x plus 15 is the same as x plus 3 over x when x does not equal 5, negative 5, 0, or negative 3. Okay, now you also have to know how to simplify problems, but I'm not going to do a simplification one because I just did it within that division problem. All right, so I'm not actually going to do a simplification problem, but I will do a solving problem. So first thing I'm going to do is look to factor. I think I'm going to GCF that and get an x minus 1. Now I'm going to go looking for my LCD. I know I'm going to need an x. Take care of that guy, take care of that guy. I know I'm going to need an x minus 1. Take care of that one and that one. My LCD is x times x minus 1. So I have this problem, 1 over x plus 1 over x minus 1, and that's going to be equal to 7 times x minus 1. I'm going to multiply all three terms by the LCD. Why? Because it'll cause my fractions to disappear. And so when I do that, here the x's will cancel, and I'll have 1 times x minus 1, which is just x minus 1. Here the x minus 1's will cancel. 1 times x is x. And then over here, the entire denominator will cancel out with that, leaving me just a 7. On the left-hand side, I'll combine like terms. I'll add 1 to each side, and I'll get 2x equals 8. I'll divide by 2, get x equals 4. And there you go. Now, I do have to check and make sure 4 is not one of my restrictions. Fortunately, it's not. My restrictions in this problem are x cannot equal 0 or 1. They're not a part of my answer because I'm telling you that x equals 1. All right, now let me just check my work here and make sure I got the right answer. 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 minus 1. I'm trying to say that's the same as that. Well, let's see here. 1/4 plus 1 over 3. And that, if it's true, that would be 7 over 12. So let me get a common denominator here. It looks like I'm going to multiply by 3. And then I'm going to multiply by 4. And that's going to get me 3/12 plus 4/12. And sure enough, that does equal 7/12. And so I know I got the right answer. Okay, that's all I'm going to do for a video today. There are old videos you can go back and watch if you need to. Mr. Lawrence signing off. Good night, everybody.